Hey everybody, I want to thank you for coming out today. I'm pleased to be here with the acting administrator of the FAA, Chris Rushelo, also with the president of the Air Traffic Controllers Union, Nick Daniels, NATCA. Thank you both for being here with me. So there's been a lot of conversation recently about what's happening in America's airspace. And there are two components to the airspace. One is the infrastructure side. If you looked at the cabinet meeting yesterday, the president and I were talking about what do we do on infrastructure. We are going to have an announcement next week on our plan to build out a brand new air traffic control infrastructure system in the country, but that is not today. Because the second part of making sure our skies are safe and efficiently being used is what's happening with air traffic control. And in March, we announced an air traffic control supercharged system. How do we get more air traffic controllers to control our airspace? As many of you have reported, we're about 3,000 air traffic controllers short right now. Now, we do have enough controllers to control the airspace. There's a lot of overtime. As Nick will tell you, there's a lot of stress on the controllers. So we need more air traffic controllers to come into this profession. And so in March, we announced that we're increasing the salaries for those who are admitted into our academy, our Air Traffic Controller Academy. We increased their salaries by 30%. We also shaved off 5 months from the hiring process. It was taking way too long. If you applied to be an air traffic controller, it could take over a year before you got a seat in the academy. And a lot of young people would go find a different career instead of waiting so long for their spot into the academy. And so we were able to shorten that timeline. So if you applied, you were able to more quickly go through the process and get in to the Air Traffic Controller Academy. So we've streamlined that process by 5 months. And then we've also prioritized the best qualified controllers, or those who take the test, the entrance exam. Those who are best qualified got a higher preference to get into the academy. Right now, the washout rate is 35%. By taking in the best and the brightest on the entrance test, we're hoping that we'll be able to reduce that washout rate, get more young people through the academy, trained up, certified, and then in towers. So that's what we announced in March. And we now want to talk about the next phase of where we want to go with air traffic control. So today we're announcing that we are going to improve this pipeline for new hires into air traffic control. First off, the military, they train up a lot of air traffic controllers. We get a percentage of them that come in to civilian air traffic control. We have a plan to bring in more military air traffic controllers. I don't want them to go take a different job. I want them to come in and continue the skills that they've learned in the military, continue to use those skills in the civilian airspace. We have new opportunities for those military air traffic controllers, a better pathway into the system, and a better pathway to pick locations that work for them. So that's going to be important, bringing in more military air traffic controllers. We're going to provide incentives. So not only do we pay 30% more for those students who go to the academy, when you graduate from the academy, right, and you pass it's basically like a bar exam, you pass your exit exam to go into a facility, we're going to give those new graduates a $5,000 bonus. Again, incentivizing them to stick through the process, go through graduation, and then start the work of becoming a certified air traffic controller. We also want to reward academy graduates that are going to go to harder to fill locations. So I don't want to give a hard time to Albuquerque, but a lot of people don't want to go to Albuquerque. I wouldn't mind going to Albuquerque, but if there's harder places to staff up, we're going to give bonuses to controllers that are willing to go to harder staffing locations. Albuquerque might be one. So again, if we can't staff up locations, we're going to give bonuses to those locations to get air traffic controllers to go there. But I think the most important part of this, again, this is the phase that says let's get more air traffic controllers, in the pipeline, get trained up and get certified. Well, it's going to take us time to do that. All of this is going to take time. But I thought, as I was thinking through this, I'm like, the key part of the solution is the current air traffic controllers that we have. We have many air traffic controllers. They're fantastic. They're great at their jobs. They get to an eligible point of retirement, and they take that retirement. And so as this team has thought about, well, if we need to get more controllers in our towers, why don't we try to incentivize those really well-experienced air traffic controllers? Let's incentivize them to stay. Let's get them to stay on. Not only do we have that experience, but they can also help train up those younger, newer controllers coming into their facility. And so I'm happy to announce that we have struck a deal with NATCA. They've been great partners through this process. And we are going to give a upfront substantial bonus for those controllers who are eligible to retire to actually stay on. And our hope is through this partnership with NATCA and also with our supercharge efforts in the academy, which, by the way, if anyone's watching this and you're young or you're a parent or a grandparent, Nick will tell you air traffic controllers make really good money. It's a great career. The controllers I've talked to have said, listen, it is stressful. It's a hard job. Really well skilled and qualified men and women do this job. But the controllers I've talked to, they love their job. They love their hours. They love the work they do. They love the effort that they put in actually helps keep Americans safe, keep planes safe, efficiently use our airspace. So if you're looking for a great job, paying you well over $100,000 very quickly into your certification, air traffic control is a great place. We're looking to hire as we go through this supercharge. So take a look at that, if you will. If you're a young person, or if you're a parent or a grandparent, talk to your kids about air traffic control. The academy is about 4 months in training, and then you're out in a tower and you're making real money. So today again, we are giving a bonus to keep on our experienced air traffic controllers who are eligible for retirement, and we are supercharging candidates into the academy. And if you're sitting here reporting like Grady is, we're paying people more money, right? A lot of this is incentivizing through dollars. And as you saw the last administration, we had a lot of inflation, and these financial incentives, we've already seen the benefits of keeping people excited about coming into air traffic control into the academy, and then graduating from the academy and getting into towers. But also, it's important that our controllers who are about to retire, they can go take a second job. Our philosophy is, well, why not keep them in their current job and give them that bonus to stay? And I think we're going to see a real benefit to the airspace. And so, again, this is the phase of air traffic controllers. Next week, we're going to talk about the infrastructure on the airspace. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to a guy who has done just a fantastic job at the FAA. He's been a wonderful partner of mine, so knowledgeable, so insightful, and so important as we've negotiated and worked on this plan. The acting administrator of the FAA, Chris Rushall.
Thank you, sir. So thank you, Mr. Secretary, and thank you, Nick, for being here today, for the opportunity to talk about what we're doing to strengthen our workforce and ensure the safety of the American flying public. First, I want to again thank President Trump and Secretary Duffy for placing their trust in me to run the FAA at this time. I also want to thank Secretary Duffy for his strong leadership and for tackling this long-standing challenge. I'm grateful that he's made the FAA at the top of his list to make sure we get the resources and provide the safest, most efficient transportation aviation system in the world. Secretary Duffy knows we need more safety professionals to strengthen our ranks to keep aviation flying high. But I'm most grateful today for our FAA employees. Their work day in and day out supporting everything from aviation safety to airports, to air traffic control, and commercial space. It's their commitment to the mission and to the flying public that helps keep our skies safe. I'm immensely proud to work alongside these dedicated professionals. With the Secretary's help, we are taking quick and decisive action in solving the nation's air traffic controller shortage. We've reduced hiring bottlenecks, increased the salaries of those who graduate from the academy, and prioritized those top-scoring academy candidates to make sure we recruit and train the best and the brightest to join the FAA team. And by streamlining the hiring and cutting the red tape, we've shaved months, as the Secretary mentioned, off the old process. The Secretary's Supercharged Hiring Initiative is working. Less than 45 days after the recent announcement closed, one of the first applicants already has an academy start date next month. The outstanding work by our team to accelerate this process is a clear sign that this administration is leading in a profound way to transform our aviation system. Today, we're doubling down and offering new incentives for veteran military controllers, hiring more academy instructors, and offering extra help and innovative learning strategies for academy students. These efforts will get new air traffic controllers to the job much faster and keep our flying public safe. The work we do at the FAA isn't always easy, but it's vitally important to our nation. And again, I'm proud to work alongside such a dedicated and talented workforce. Together, we're building a stronger, safer, more efficient, and more innovative FAA. Thanks. Nick, turn it over to you.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Secretary. Thank you, Acting Administrator Rocheleau. And good morning. Today is an important step forward in addressing the ongoing staffing shortages across the national airspace system. This new recruitment award and retention incentive program is not just a policy. This is a commitment to the dedicated men and women keeping our skies safe. It's a real, tangible move towards building and sustaining the workforce that America needs. We thank Secretary Duffy and Acting Administrator Rocheleau for their leadership in standing behind this profession. Their commitment to hiring, training, and then retaining the best and the brightest is exactly what this moment calls for. This is progress, but we know that staffing is one part of the bigger picture. Our air traffic control system also urgently needs technology upgrades and infrastructure improvements. These are long-standing challenges that we can no longer have delayed. The hardworking men and women who operate the United States aviation system deserve the most modern and most effective tools to ensure that they reduce risk and increase safety. Secretary Duffy has made it clear that tackling these issues is a top priority, and NATCA stands ready to work with him, the Department of Transportation, the FAA, Congress, and all of the stakeholders to build a world-class aviation air traffic control system that the American people need and that the American people deserve. So thank you. Absolutely. Thank you, sir.
If you have any questions for us, we're happy to take questions now. Yes.
Yesterday, during the reconciliation process, the House Transportation Committee and its package included $12.5 billion for air traffic control upgrades that you envision, calling it a down payment. Is that $12.5 billion enough to fully fund your plan that's been under review at OMB, or are you going to request additional money from Congress?
Yes. So I appreciate the question. We're going to have a broader press conference next week on what that plan looks like, but Congressman Graves has been fantastic in his leadership, understanding the problems that we face, looking for resources available to help fund what is sorely needed. I mean, we're 25, 30 years behind the curve on building a brand new system. So again, we'll talk about that next week, but I just want to say I appreciate his work and effort in putting a focus on this critical need for American infrastructure.
Just to clarify, is this announcement today part of the plan that OMB has been reviewing, or is it totally separate?
This is the plan that we're talking about today. The increase in the bonus for air traffic controllers, the new money going to the academy, to the graduates. This is all money that we currently have in our budget. So OMB is looking at the plan. By the way, the announcement next week. I've already had a conversation, as you could tell yesterday from the cabinet meeting. I've had a conversation with the president. I've laid out our ideas for a brand new air traffic control system, which, by the way, the president, it's great to have leadership from the top. Before DCA, before he gave me this job, I've heard him for years talk about the problems within the American system and how he wants to fix it and again, keep it the best in the world. And so his leadership and support has been critical as we've gone through this process. And I think with his leadership as well, we're going to get the support that we need from Congress. Yeah.
Yeah, Will Geisman of the Air Current. Yesterday during the cabinet meeting, President Trump said that he was specifically looking into awarding just one contractor to do all of that modernization on the infrastructure side. Curious if you could talk about if that's something that you guys are considering. The agency in the past has said that it would take multiple companies, multiple technologies to do that work.
So again, we're going to have a press conference next week on this very issue. We're talking about air traffic controllers. Again, there's two parts to this. You need a system that is truly the envy of the world. It has to be rebuilt, but you also need great staff, well-trained, best and brightest staff in our towers controlling the airspace, which is what we're talking about today. But just I will make one quick comment. I think what the president was talking about is, if you think about construction, you might have a project manager or a general contractor. They don't do all the work. They have subs, those who have expertise in the different components of a construction project. I think he thinks about this project similar to many of the construction projects that he's been involved in. So, yes.
Pete Montine with CNN. It seems that the issues have been particularly acute for air traffic control in Newark. And on Monday, there were staffing issues and equipment issues. I just looked now, there's a 5-hour delay on average for flights going to Newark right now. They're calling out staffing and other equipment issues. Can you speak to the nature of the staffing issues? And can you talk about how the announcement today will get at that, and then also what needs to be done to fix the equipment there? What's the nature of the problem?
So there's a number of issues at play, and we not surprised by your question. Maybe Chris, do you want to take that?
Happy to. Thank you. And thanks, Pete, for the question. So clearly, this goes directly to what the Secretary is talking about and why we're here today. We're focused on the technology piece of this and the staffing piece. So both of those go together. And when we talk about Newark specifically and the outage or the interruption, we want to make sure that equipment is solid for the controllers that are coming to work every day so that they can depend on that, equipment and making sure they're properly trained. Now, related to this specific incident, we have a team up there right now. They're doing an ongoing investigation in terms of the technology, the interruption itself. But again, at the end of the day, we need to make sure the controllers have the proper equipment and that they're obviously appropriately staffed.
And I would just note that when there's issues, you see delays, you see cancellations. Our airspace is safe because if there are issues, we don't fly. And that's why we can confidently say this is the safest mode of travel. But again, the disruption, canceled flights or delayed flights, people get angry, they get annoyed, they get frustrated, and rightfully so. But what I think you're seeing is you're starting to see cracks in the system, and you can see them in different locations. And it's our job, all of us working together, to not wait until there's a disaster. It's our job to actually see over the horizon what the issues are and fix it before there is an incident that we will seriously regret. And that's why we're here today, again, looking over the horizon.
How about for you to turn the ship around here quickly? Because I know some of the forecasts have been hiring 3,000 controllers could take 10, 15, 20 years.
So we're not so quickly in this space. This is not quick. But on the controller front, if this works as planned, I'm hopeful, and Nick and I with Chris, we're hoping in 3 to 4 years we can get to full staffing, not 20 years. But again, it is a thoughtful, concerted effort to go, how do you make up the gap? And we can't snap our fingers to make up the numbers, but it's the thoughtful work that goes in to say, I'm happy that at this moment, this team thought about solutions. So in a year and a half, you're seeing real results. 3 years, you're hopefully seeing 4 years, you're seeing full staffing. And also, as we build this brand new system, you can't do that overnight as well. That's going to take time to do it methodically. We're going to learn as we go, probably with smaller facilities, not the larger facilities. And again, we're still flying planes, landing planes, controlling airspace. So and again, it's the complication of this is probably one of the reasons why it was never done, right? And so difficulty can't be our reason why we don't take action now. We pass it off to the next administration, because that would be a dereliction of duty. Grady?
For the incentives, how long do you expect them to stay in place?
For our retirement eligible air traffic controllers?
That as well as the bonuses.
Listen, this is temporary. So do I see us needing this for 10 years? No. But for several years, yeah, I think we're going to incentivize these controllers to stay on. And again, it's a nice bump of money that they're going to get. In the academy, I think the structural changes that we're making there are going to allow us to, again, the washout rate is important. You might get, again, for example, in the last fiscal year, there was 1,800 students that went to the academy. There was a washout rate of 35%. So they only actually graduated 1,100 young people from the academy. So it's not just getting more butts in seats, right, and thinking about how you staff it. It's also making sure you get the best people, the best qualified, so you reduce that washout rate. So the net number increases dramatically out of the academy, in addition to NATCA bringing more of their people online to stay longer.
And then you just kind of touched on this, but obviously this is not a new problem. It's something that the previous administration was also trying to address. What do you think this administration is doing differently that could help you close the gap that they weren't able to do?
So what I've mentioned, recognizing the problem and addressing the problem, not running from the problem, is key. And so on improving the timeline, again, if you're 24 years old and you want to be an air traffic controller and you don't hear back for a year and you can't get a slot for 2 years from the date at which you applied, you're almost guaranteed you're going to go do something else. You're going to find a different career. That we're able to streamline the time frame in which you apply to the time frame in which you get in to the academy. That is critical. And also what we've done is we are taking the best qualified. So those who score the best on the test. So if I have someone who scored 98 on the entrance exam compared to someone who scored 82, we're going to put the 98 into the academy, give them a seat before the 82 test score. And we think that's going to be key. One point I didn't mention, and this when I was at Oklahoma City, some of the students brought this up. They said, if you would help us with even some tutoring, if we need some extra assistance, if there's one component that we didn't get, if you could offer some assistance in tutoring, that would go a long way to making sure we're successful in staying in the program. And so that's part of this plan as well. It's like, do I have tutors in the library if you want to get some additional help on a portion of a class that you maybe didn't understand? Instead of just shrugging your shoulders and letting that student wash out, well, let's give them some extra support and see if we can save them and get them to graduate and get them to join Nick's union, right? Yeah.
Mr. Secretary, Tom Costello with NBC News, and I was with you at the Academy a few months ago. There's a mandatory retirement age for controllers of 56. Have you considered readdressing that, potentially raising that retirement age? But also, you said that we're starting to see cracks in the system as it relates to Newark Airport, and we're heading into a busy summer travel season. Are these cracks in the system going to be, manifesting themselves throughout the entire summer? And I would tell you, we also have heard that some of the problems at Newark also deal with controllers upset and simply we're saying they're too stressed out to work. So how much do you have a morale problem at Newark and Philly because you moved control space down to Philly? But then in addition, are we seeing cracks in the system that will last all summer and could impact summer travel season?
Is that like one question with 6 parts?
It's all one. We ask as many as we can.
Okay, yes, no, but on the first one is a really good question. So the mandatory retirement age is 56. I have the ability to grant an extension of that age if the controller gets a physical. But what you would note, and Nick was very astute to make this point to me, many of the controllers are retiring before the age of 56. So they can retire at, I think the average age is, if I'm right, 53, 52, somewhere in there. So we're out of the game at 56, which is why I've gone to Nick and said, how do we get those controllers at 52 and 53 and 54 to get them to stay on? What kind of incentive can I give them in the form of a bonus to continue on and maybe they'll stay another year, another 2 years, and as they stay longer and we're able to train more, that's how we're gonna close this gap. And it's a patriotic move by the union and by the controllers. Our hope is that many of them will take us up on this and continue to serve the American people. In regard to the controllers up in at Newark, maybe I'll let if Nick wants to address that, you can talk about it.
You know, I think this is a pivotal moment of seeing what the stresses and pressures of this career path are. And that is being recognized by this administration. That's why we're eager to continue working together on it, is finding the solutions to these issues. And that is the need, as we spoke about, for modernization as well. Getting reliable equipment to the dedicated men and women that are frustrated when things aren't going right. But we do have to reduce capacity and ensure that we're managing the risk in the system in order to keep the levels of safety that the American people deserve. So yes, every day that we take another investment, that we find another way to go out and modernize this system, it is overdue, it's absolutely needed, and will put us in a position to ensure that your flight or departs on time, arrives on time, and is handled by the most professional workforce in the entire world.
And maybe just one other point on that. What you're going to see next week is a massive swath of unions to industry supportive of what we want to do. Any of you who follow Congress, there isn't a whole lot of bipartisanship at this point in Congress. Listen, Democrats and Republicans, House members and senators, there's wide agreement that this has to be addressed. Again, there's always conversations about funding. That's for the Congress. We're laying out what we need to make sure this system is the best and continues to serve the American people. Yeah.
Dave Sherwoodson from Reuters. 2 questions. I want to ask about DCA and New York City. So the major airlines have asked you to extend the slot waiver for the 2 years through 2027. Given staffing issues, are you going to do that? Sorry.
Do you want to answer that, Chris?
Sure. I mean, I think the short answer to that is we had the request. We're working that within the department, both, as you probably are aware. A piece of that has to do with the FAA and the Air Traffic Organization, specifically along with the department, the Office of Secretary of Transportation. So we're working through that. It certainly is being strongly considered, but I don't think we've come to a final decision on that.
And on stress at DCA, right? You replaced some of the managers there. There are some concerns about if the rate is too high, especially in the second half of the hour. There was a fist fight between 2 controllers. There was another incident recently involving a Delta plane that departed and came close to some Air Force jets that were doing a ceremonial flyover of Arlington. How have you addressed safety concerns at DCA, and what else do you need to do to make sure those controllers are not under too much stress?
Yeah, I appreciate the question. So clearly, as you may remember, we took very quick action to make sure we reduce the complexity of that airspace immediately after the midair. And since that time, we've been working closely with the controllers, with management, not to mention the operators within the system, to ensure that we maintain that safety, that level of a safe approach, the clear airspace going forward. I personally have visited, Nick and I both went to DCA Tower to talk to the people, to talk to the management, to talk to the controllers, to understand what they're going through right now. And I believe we have a very strong plan in place as we consider, particularly operations right now and through the summer.
Just briefly, you just made some changes at Las Vegas Airport after your review showed safety concerns involving helicopters. Have you found any other concerns about helicopters at other airports or taken any other changes?
That's a great question because as you are likely aware, we've had this ongoing review of airspace throughout the nation. It's very important that as we find these areas that we need to act quickly on, such as Las Vegas, we're taking that action immediately. We're not done with that by any stretch. We will continue to work through the system to identify those areas and ensure that we put mitigations in place where we identify those risks.
And, I just wanted to highlight one of the points the acting administrator made there. You're seeing these different impacts at different airports because of our need to get to a modernization package. And as we've been talking here today about recruiting and retaining the air traffic controllers that we have. 10 hours a day, 6 days a week, 4 days off a month. The dedicated men and women are out there. The American workers are out there ensuring the safety of this system. And this administration is why we're eager to make the changes that we've been talking about for over a decade. This isn't something that happened overnight, and it's not going to be a snap of the finger and one answer that's going to get us out of it tomorrow. It's going to take this relationship and the commitment to these ongoing efforts, and we'll tackle them one by one as they continue to come up. For DCA alone, we probably have 15 different plans in action together that we have mutually agreed on, and it doesn't mean that fixes everything. It's another step in the right direction to making sure the American people have the system that they deserve.
Just real quick on that, after DCA, Administrator Rushello was dogged on the point of where else do we have points of conflict that have to be addressed. There were 85 very close to near misses at DCA in the 4 years before this crash. Where else was that happening? Let's use every tool we have to identify those airspaces, which is what he's done, and the FAA is not done yet, but that's important. And someone asked the question about the summer. I think maybe it was your question about what's going to happen this summer. People have seen it takes longer to fly. There are more delays, and there is much more frustration. This didn't happen on January 20th. That's not when the date of crisis in the airspace happened. It's been going on for years, if not decades. It's just that you have a team that's willing to stand before you and tell you the truth about what we have and what we need to make it right and what we're going to need from Congress to make it right. That's what we're doing, is leveling with the American people, because all of you fly. All of your families fly. And we owe it to you to level with you and with the Congress and with the administration to say, let's make the American story very different than what it could be if we didn't take action. Yes?
Sarah Foss with CBS.
Hey, Sarah.
You just touched on summer travel. I just have a quick follow-up to that. Obviously, these changes, like you said, are going to take a bit. It's not going to happen overnight. We are heading into Memorial Day weekend. Is the current system up to the challenge? Some of these incidents have raised some concerns that it could not be.
I would just say, yes, it is. So again, you see when there's issues in the airspace, it gets shut down or traffic gets reduced, and then there's delays or there's cancellations. But the primary mission is safety. That's what we do here. And so if it's not safe, Administrator Rushello will shut it down. Air traffic controllers. Oh, you guys to respond to me. You guys, sorry about that. But also air traffic controllers, same way. We'll say, listen, this is too much. We have safety mechanisms throughout the whole system that make sure safety is paramount. But can you have more delays? Yeah, we're seeing more delays, which is also why, this is a huge part of our economy. Again, it's safety. If you make it more efficient, also you have great rewards for economic activity as well. I didn't get you yet.
Hi, Allison Verspo from Bloomberg News. I believe earlier you said hopefully by 3 to 4 years we'll have full staffing. Is there a specific target in mind though for when air traffic control will be fully staffed, when it's possible, considering retirements as well?
So there's variables in there. I can't give you an exact number, right? So how many air traffic controllers who are eligible for retirement actually take our offer and stay? I hope it's going to be huge. And you saw Nick is very compelling. He's going to sell his controllers that they should stick with us and stay with us. How effective are we in dropping that washout rate at the academy? And again, it takes 1 to 3 years to train up those new controllers. I think we're reforming the way that not the way we instruct, but how we're using our controllers at the academy. We're going to rejigger how that works. That'll allow us more capacity. And again, that implementation, I don't have the numbers. I feel like that's what I'm saying, 3 to 4 years. But the plan we have in place, I think, is well positioned to allow us to hit those numbers. Back there.
Hi, Nathan Algren with the Associated Press. This is a question for the Acting Administrator, Rocheleau. Can you talk about how the FAA may be impacted by the deferred resignation program, and are there any other job cuts at the agency, including air traffic control?
Yeah, it's a fair question. There's certainly been some attention to that, but let me just start by saying we have an incredibly resilient workforce. It's such a pleasure to be back working with these people side by side. As some of you know, I was away from the department and the FAA for a while. I've been back with the leadership team, with the frontline workforce, and they are resilient, they are motivated, they care about what they do, and they're coming to work every day to do exactly that, to ensure the safety of the flying public. So we do have people coming and going. It is certainly one of those that we're working through to mitigate any impacts. But right now, we're very proud of the people we have in place. And like the Secretary has talked about, the best and the brightest are there working every day to make sure that the American traveling public are doing that safely.
And I know there can be, or was talked about, some exemptions for air traffic controllers under the DRP. Have any controllers still resigned, even if they were exempt?
Yeah, that's a great question too, because as you may be aware, we've never stopped hiring controllers, safety inspectors, and engineers. That has continued since day one that we came on board. Certainly, as we look at DRP, controllers are not eligible for that. There are a number of those safety categories that we continue to hire for. So right now, as Nick and I have talked about a number of times, we're wanting to bring new people into that workforce and obviously retain the people that we have.
So the safety critical positions are exempt. We're hiring more people into those safety positions. To the acting administrator's point, air traffic controllers, we are trying to hire more. We're not. I'm sorry, if Nick wants any of his guys to be able to take it, they can't. They're sticking with us.
Lori, Tony from the Washington Post. You mentioned the military, the controllers that could be military. Can you talk a little bit about how that would work, how they would come into the system, what their training might be like, and do you have any idea how many numbers of them there could be?
We used to get more military controllers, and I think we have to listen to why we're not getting the same numbers we did in the past. And when we hear them out, are there things we can do that allow them, when they're going to retire from the military, that they find us to be a good home? And if we listen to those who don't come to us and then make the necessary changes within our structure, I think that's a key point to bringing more of them into the FAA, into air traffic control.
So any idea what the number could be, how many more you might be?
I had that number, but I don't have it in front of me.
We'll take you one.
Yeah. But we get more than one, but we could follow up with a number for you on that, yeah.
We got time for one more, guys, sorry.
Yeah, thanks. Just one kind of final question. So it sounds like a lot of the workforce initiatives here that you're talking about are really aimed at those new hires who are going through the academy. Curious if you could talk a little bit about the existing workforce, those folks who are already certified. Do you see any sort of like retention issues there? Do you have plans for future bonuses or sort of retention efforts on that side as well?
Well, I believe that NATCA and the FAA just signed a contract in November. The new contract was signed. This is in addition to the new contract they did in the last administration. And I think the biggest issue that we've seen, again, there are more stressful jobs. These professions, these controllers are well trained and they get paid really well for the work that they do. And that's why the breaking point for us was, can we keep those experienced controllers at the age of retirement to stay on, whether it's a year or 2 years or 3 years longer? that's where we can make up the greatest ground, which is why we've come out with this proposal today. And so if you think about it, we have the inputs, we're improving that at the academy, and at the end of the cycle, trying to keep more of those experienced controllers with us longer. And those two things together are what I think are going to bridge the gap to get us to a place where we're getting 3,000 additional controllers to serve the American people. I'll do one more question. You had one in back, and then we'll.
I wanted to follow up on, sorry, I didn't identify myself earlier, Sam Ogazalik at Politico. Following
You
up
seem
on the,
so eager, so I thought, well, one more
no,
question.
I had to get it in.
Hopefully it's a good question. So
Following up on the
that's a
DRP.
mistake that I asked.
Is DOT planning to conduct a reduction in force this month? And if so, how many people are going to be laid off?
So stay tuned. We'll, as we go through our plans on how we're going to deal with staffing at DOT, I'm sure you'll get our press release and be able to report on it. But just this point has been made clear by the president that we want the DOT, we want all of government to be efficient. And what's the most efficient number that we need to do the job that meets the goals that's been set for us by the Congress, but also the expectations that the American people have for us. And I was up at the Philly shipyard Monday, I think it was there Monday, and some people are concerned about, like we're losing people from the department. And the point is, this is not an employment agency. That's not what we're here for. We're here to build infrastructure in America. And if I'm able to do the same job with less people in this department, that means that I have more money for the roads and bridges that all Republicans and Democrats want in their district. I get calls all day long. They all want this infrastructure. I'll have more money to build a brand new air traffic control system. I'll have more money to help with the bonus for air traffic controllers. I'll have more money for rail and pipelines and ports, all the things we do here. If I can do it more efficiently, the money doesn't evaporate. It's actually more money that I get to put into projects, which is why, in the end, when Congress passed their legislation for infrastructure, they debated a lot of requirements that we should have and when we spend money, how we spend money, and they actually took those out. So I've complied with Congress to say we're not going to put all these green requirements in our notice of funding opportunities. We're not going to make all these green or social justice requirements, which means that we can build these projects for less money. And then if we staff here with less people, a more efficient team, that means that you get more projects done, which is what we should be doing in America. And so that's the president's vision. How much can we build big, beautiful infrastructure, big and beautiful, with the appropriate amount of money? And so that is the focus. It's not about letting people go, and it's about getting us to a workforce that can do the job to serve the American people, accomplish the mission, and do it effectively. And the extra money we have goes back into projects that America wants us to spend money on. And so with that, thank you all for coming out. I appreciate it.
Can you say one thing about the real ID implementation? Are you monitoring that at all? Are you concerned about people not getting their IDs?
That's for Christy, no.
I know, but even still. Thank you guys.
It's Edwin. And we sing that in 3 rounds because we are at the coast. Normally you would sing it in 4 directions, but since that we are coastal, we are singing it into the 3 directions surrounding us. Thank you.
Let's give another hand for Michelle and Catherine. Thank you so much. Whose streets? Whose streets? Whose streets? That's right. Next up in our program, to do the blessing, la bendición, representing CLUE, Senior Minister of the Downey Memorial Christian Church, Reverend Tanya Lopez.
Good morning, Los Angeles. Buenos días, familia. Que Dios les bendiga. God bless you. Qué emoción estar aquí juntos en esta mañana, unidos en una sola lucha, porque somos uno. Un pueblo, diversidad de voces, diversidad de talentos, de culturas, de edades, de experiencias, pero unidos en una lucha por nuestros derechos, por nuestra seguridad y por nuestro futuro. What a joy and blessing to be with you all, united as one human family that is vibrant and diverse, that speaks to the multiplicity of languages and that recognizes the value in our differences. We also recognize our deep interconnectedness as our joint struggle and fight is for our rights, for our safety, for our dignity, and for our collective future. My denomination is the Christian Church Disciples of Christ. And I'd like to share with you our identity statement, and I invite you to hold on to it and to claim it for yourself as well. We call ourselves a movement for wholeness in a fragmented world. And I see here in each of you, in each of these faces, in these banners, in these flags, in these voices, and in this joy, a movement for wholeness, a movement for fair pay, a movement for accessibility, for educational opportunities, a movement for the dignity and protection of all people. I see a wave of change reflected in each of you, and the tides are turning, my friends. And so today, alongside thousands of others across cities and counties in the different states that we share in this nation, we walk together, we show up for one another, and we will keep organizing and mobilizing because we have the numbers, we have all that we need, and together we hold the line. Yo soy parte de la denominación Discípulos de Cristo y nuestro lema es que somos un movimiento hacia la plenitud en un mundo fragmentado. Ustedes les invito a que también reciban este lema como parte de su identidad, porque ustedes son el movimiento por la plenitud en el mundo, por todos, en este mundo fragmentado. Nuestras ciudades, nuestros condados, nuestro país entero está fragmentado porque vemos cómo las familias están sufriendo, cómo las familias están siendo aterrorizadas. Pero la fuerza que mueve esta nación, los trabajadores, el pueblo, está siendo explotado. Y nosotros somos la ola del cambio y de la transformación. Así que hoy marchamos juntos en amor y en solidaridad, con miles de personas en esta lucha de diversos lugares a través de nuestros países, con la convicción y la determinación que persistiremos hasta que veamos los cambios urgentemente necesarios hechos una realidad, por la igualdad y la dignidad de todos, sin consideración de documentación, porque cada persona es digna de tener seguridad y de tener sus derechos honrados y respetados. Juntos hoy decimos no a la tiranía. Juntos hoy decimos no a la crueldad. Y juntos afirmamos que somos la fuerza que creará las comunidades que todos merecemos y que nada podrá detener. Les invito a que oremos juntos. I invite us now to unite our hearts in a spirit of prayer. I will be praying to our divine creator. Please unite your spirit because we are all interconnected in the divine one I am. God of compassion, of justice, and of transformational love. Bless our steps today as we move as one this morning. Bless our words as we chant and sing, as we shout and proclaim that we are one people, united in our conviction that all are worthy of safety and dignity, that all are worthy of fair pay and equal opportunities, that all people are worthy of rest and renewal, because we are witnessing and quite literally living with the reality of these exploitative systems and what they do to extract everything from our mothers and fathers, from our elders and children, from students and from all those who simply want to be able to live and work and be and exist. Imbue us in this moment with your spirit as we use our hands and our feet, as we use our bodies to send a message loud and clear to those in power that this will not continue and that this is not the way. Hoy guíanos y úsanos en maneras poderosas para que por medio de nuestras voces y de nuestras pisadas, para que por medio de todo lo que haremos después de esta marcha, tú sigas siendo nuestra fuente de energía y de sabiduría. Te pedimos, oh Dios, que nos sigas conectando y que nos mantengas unidos para que día a día juntos avancemos más en nuestras metas, para que juntos usemos todo lo que somos y todas nuestras habilidades para generar los cambios que sabemos que son necesarios. Y juntos crearemos esas comunidades seguras, comunidades apoyadas y protegidas para absolutamente todos. Juntos somos las gotas que forman las olas de tu justicia. Así que guíanos y protégenos. Capacítanos con tu poder para que los sistemas y las prácticas opresivas y crueles se transformen por completo. Gracias por este día y por esta unidad. Somos uno. Juntos somos imparables. Juntos somos el cambio y con tu ayuda sabemos que nada es imposible. We trust in you. We ask you to keep us tethered to one another in our struggle, in our fight, in our joint work of dismantling all that oppresses so that together a better tomorrow can be made possible for all. We are the drops that together become the waves of your justice made real in the world. So let your justice roll down like the water, O God, and may your righteousness overflow on this day and forevermore. This we pray, and together we say, Amen, Amen, and Amen.
Are you ready? Yeah. Are you ready to fight? Are you ready to win? When we fight, when we fight, when we fight. Así es. My name is Oscar with Chirla, your MC.
Jocelyn from the LA County Federation of Labor de la Federación Laboral.
And I'm proud to welcome you all to this year's May Day March. hosted by the May Day Coalition, a powerful alliance of labor unions, community organizations, grassroots groups, faith groups, all united under one vision of solidarity.
Estamos muy orgullosos de darles la bienvenida a la marcha de 1 de mayo que está organizada por la coalición del 1 de mayo. Somos sindicatos, organizaciones comunitarias, movimientos locales unidos en solidaridad.
This year, we've received over 90 endorsements. That's 90 organizations standing together empowered.
Y tenemos 90 organizaciones, más de 90 organizaciones unidos para asumir el poder.
When our communities are under attack, what do we do? When our communities are under attack, what do we do? That's right. Coming up to the stage first, the executive director of the Coalition of Humane Immigrant Rights, the iconic Angelica Salas.
Good morning, Los Angeles. Buenos días a todos esta mañana hermosa, porque esta mañana hermosa estamos marchando. My name is Angelica Salas, and I am proudly representing Cheerlas, courageous staff, board, and membership. ¿Dónde están los miembros de Cheerlas? Thank you for being here this morning, demonstrating to our country and to this world that we refuse to sit by the sidelines while our family, our friends, our co-workers are being attacked by bigots, by billionaires, and by bullies. We refuse to stand idly by when we see ICE and Border Patrol cruelly snatch and disappear our families. We will not stand by the sidelines. Today, we proudly declare our unity. Thousands of people in more than 150 different rallies and marches across this country are coming together under one banner, which is one struggle, one fight. Workers unite. Can I hear you say that? One struggle, one fight. Workers unite. Buenos días, hermanos y hermanas. Gracias por estar aquí esta mañana. Hoy le demostramos al país y al mundo que no vamos a quedarnos al margen mientras nuestras familias, nuestros amigos y nuestros compañeros de trabajo son atacados por fanáticos, por millonarios y por esta gente mala. Hoy con orgullo declaramos en esta marcha y en manifestaciones a través de esta nación. Y marchamos nuestra unidad, declaramos nuestra unidad y decimos una lucha, una batalla, todos los trabajadores unidos. En español hay que decirlo también, una lucha. Hay que oírlo, una lucha, una batalla. Todos los trabajadores unidos. We know that we are stronger when we see our brothers and sisters, when we see each other and we see what we have in common. So what do we have in common? We all love our families and we want them to live united and free. So we're here to say, free Gilmar Abrego Garcia and the tens of thousands of people who are detained in immigration prisons. We say, stop snatching and disappearing our people. And I want everybody here to understand what's happening to immigrants is happening to all Americans. There is no separation because this is our land, this is our cuando somos unidos y nos vemos como hermanos y hermanas y vemos lo que tenemos en común y queremos que nuestras familias vivan unidas y libres siempre. Estamos aquí para demandar que liberen a Gilmar Abrego García y a todos nuestros hermanos y hermanas que están detenidos en prisiones de inmigración. ¿Están conmigo? Que liberen a nuestra gente. Que paren las deportaciones. Que nos dejen vivir libres. We also want to be treated fairly in the workplace and to have the wages that allow us to put food on the table and have a place to lay our head at night. We fight for housing. We fight for good wages. We fight so that we can have opportunity. Are you with me? We want our children to have quality, accessible education and an opportunity to have and live lives where they can thrive. Y todos queremos ser tratados de una manera justa en el trabajo, tener salarios que nos permitan poner comida en la mesa y tener un lugar donde descansar cada noche. Queremos que nuestros hijos tengan una educación de calidad, accesible y la oportunidad de construir vidas donde puedan prosperar. We want to be able to heal our elders when they are sick and find affordable places that will treat them with dignity and respect. Today we are saying that we are united by a deep belief in the Pledge of Allegiance. And let's make that damn Pledge of Allegiance real. And it says that we are all created equal and that liberty and justice is deserved by all. We are all created equally, and liberty and justice for all. I need to hear you say that. Liberty and justice for all. Liberty and justice for all. We believe in a U.S. that is a multiracial democracy, beginning with acknowledging that we are a native land. This is native land. That this country was built on the stolen labor of Black Americans, on the exploitation of immigrants from all over the world. But we are here to recognize all our contributions and all the wealth that we have built for this nation. We see ourselves and we know what we have done for this country, and we want you to recognize it too. Y le estamos diciendo a este país que estamos unidos en una profunda confianza, que juntos podemos jurar hacia la bandera de los Estados Unidos y decir que sí estamos creados igual y que la libertad y la justicia son derechos de todos. Creemos en un Estados Unidos como una democracia multirracial, comenzando por reconocer que estamos en tierra indígena, un país construido sobre el trabajo robado de la comunidad afroamericana, sobre la explotación de los inmigrantes de todo el mundo, y reconocemos todas nuestras contribuciones a esta nación, porque si ellos no quieren ver esas contribuciones, nosotros sabemos que nosotros movemos esta nación hacia adelante. ¡Que vivan los inmigrantes! So, we know we're stronger when we see our brothers and sisters, that which we hold in common, the unity that will save us. Y hay que decirlo, sabemos que somos más fuertes cuando vemos nuestros hermanos y hermanas lo que tenemos en común. Y esa unidad nos salvará. So, let's be very clear. There are powerful forces in this country that are intent on dividing us and dividing this country. Hay que ser muy claros. Hay fuerzas poderosas en este país que están intentos, empeñados en dividirnos y dividir nuestro país. But what we say to them is we are here and we are fierce in our solidarity. Pero a ellos les decimos, estamos aquí y seremos firmes en nuestra solidaridad. We will be part of this beautiful U.S. history of warriors for justice and freedom. You, right here, are warriors for justice and freedom. You are warriors for justice and freedom. Thank you for marching today. Thank you for standing with your community. And finally, my last words are to my immigrant community. I'm a proud Mexicana, an immigrant from Mexico. To my immigrant community, I want you to know that you are loved. A mi familia inmigrante, quiero que sepan que ustedes son amados. La gente que está aquí los quiere. The people who are here do love you, do see you, do stand by you. And I really want you to hear this loud and clear. We belong here. Y quiero que este país entienda que nosotros pertenecemos aquí y que vamos a luchar para estar aquí con nuestras familias, en nuestras comunidades y en esta nación. And we are going to fight to be able to stay in this country. This is our home. This is where our family lives. These are our communities. These are our people. And we're marching for love, for freedom, and for justice for all. Muchas gracias y que viva el 1 de mayo. ¡Que viva! Tengo el honor de presentarles a la presidenta de la Federación Laboral. I have the honor of introducing to you the president of the Federation of Labor, Yvonne Wheeler. Good morning, sisters, brothers, and siblings. Are you fired up? Are you ready to march? You fired up? Are you ready to march? So my name is Yvonne Wheeler, and I am the proud president of the Los Angeles County Federation of Labor, representing over 800,000 union members in every industry in Los Angeles County. Today is known as International Workers' Day, of which we honor the struggle and sacrifices of workers worldwide who have made the name, who have worked and have made a name of justice. This May, we have more at stake than ever before. Let me repeat that. This May, we have more at stake than ever we had in history of this country. This current administration reigns with chaos and confusion daily. With the working class, people are under attack, and immigrants are paying the price as well. They want to erase black people. They want to deport immigrants, and they're attacking workers, and they're harming our most vulnerable communities. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. An injury to one is an injury to all. One struggle, one fight. Workers unite. Can I repeat myself, please? One struggle, one fight. Workers unite. We are reclaiming our power loudly and boldly and taking to these streets to show the world that the working people and immigrants of Los Angeles County reject the cruelty that this administration is displaying. We reject it. We will not support this. Workers are uniting and demanding an end to the continued assault on innocent people and immigrants. And whether it's from the bosses in the workplace or the President of the United States, we reject it. So it's been a busy week. We had 55,000 Los Angeles County workers taken to the street. They took the brave step and went on strike against the county of Los Angeles because of an unfair contract. We can't have that. They said we're tied up, we fed up, and we won't take it anymore. And today, our union members, immigrants, LGBTQIA activists, community groups, and everyone in between have mobilized to say loudly
and say boldly, one struggle, one fight, workers unite. We're not going to stand idly by in LA County. We are the resistance, and we will stand tall against this administration. And this goes beyond today. We will continue to organize, but we must continue to mobilize, and we must continue to show up for each other. This is not just our fight. This is everyone's fight. When workers and immigrants are under attack, what do we do? When workers and immigrants are under attack, what do we do? When workers and immigrants are under attack, what do we do? One worker, one struggle, one fight, workers unite. Because when we fight, thank you.
Let's give another hand for Yvonne. Next up, the Executive Vice President of SEIU 2015, Carmen Roberts.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Carmen Roberts, and I'm honored to be an Executive Vice President of SEIU 2015. On behalf of the 500,000 long-term care workers who make up 2015, I'm proud to stand here with you at this pivotal moment in our nation's history. You know, every year we come to May Day to ensure that the voices of workers and immigrants are heard, but today we come with an even stronger message. Today, we remind those in Washington, D.C. that the power of this country does not rest in the hands of a few billionaires. The true power of America lives in the daily contributions of every worker and every immigrant. And with our collective power, we say loud and clear, enough is enough. Enough with the senseless, unlawful attacks on our sisters and brothers who came to this country seeking a better life, who came to contribute, to build, and to realize the American dream. Instead of criminalizing those who make America stronger, the Trump administration should be paving pathways to citizenship and honoring their sacrifices. Enough with the attacks on Medicaid and Medicare, programs that are designed to protect our seniors, our loved ones with disabilities, and the most vulnerable among us. Cutting these programs doesn't save lives, it sacrifices them. Enough with the attacks on workers, the backbone of this country. Instead of firing, we should be hiring. And while we push back nationally, we must also lead locally. Here in Los Angeles County, we must set the example of what it looks like to truly value workers. For the members of SEIU 2015, that means winning an LA County contract for home care providers that lifts them out of poverty. A contract that recognizes not just the fiscal savings that they bring to the county, but the lives that they touch, the dignity they preserve, and the compassion that they deliver every single day. We are standing at a crossroad in our history, and the path we choose today will shape the future for generations to come. So let us choose unity over division. Yeah. Let us choose dignity over exploitation. Let us choose action over silence. Together, we will build a future where workers are respected, immigrants are welcomed, and no one is left behind. Together, we will win. Together, we will win. Si se puede. 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 Si se puede.
Tenemos 90 organizaciones. We have more than 90 organizations here in the crowd. Is Unite here in the house? Los trabajadores de los hoteles. SEIU. Where you at? ACE. ACE. Los maestros UTLA. Kiwa. Day laborers. Clean Car Wash. CFA. IATSE. The trades. The roofers. Teamsters in the house. Let's go. There you go. CWA. Shout it out. Yes. Trans-Latina Coalition. Yeah. Chirla. Woo! All right. We're going to go ahead with the program. Vamos a seguir con el programa. Vamos a introducir a la presidenta del Sindicato de los Maestros, the president of UTLA, Cecily Meyer Cruz.
Hey! Are we here? Good morning, family. I'm Cecily Meyer Cruz. I'm the president, the proud president of United Teachers Los Angeles, representing 39,000 educators in LA. On this International Day of the Worker, I am heartened to know that in over 1,000 cities across the nation, folks are taking to the streets just like we are today. We are fighting against fascism, privatization, teaching the truth to our babies, basic human rights for every person, and so much more. We have the right to demand respect, dignity, a living wage, housing that we can afford, and protection, the protection we hold dear. The last thing is that we have a union that upholds those values. This year's theme is one struggle, one fight, but in order to achieve this, we must be united in solidarity with one another. We must hold people accountable so that we have a pro-labor, pro-immigrant, anti-racist working class agenda in this country. One that amplifies diversity, equity, and inclusion. We are not going to stray away from those billionaires, those fascists, those privatizers, and even politicians who want to destroy our communities, our schools, our people. We must fight forward with righteous indignation, and because this fight is our fight and it is our collective job to lead. Now, this May Day is where we fight back, and we've got to continue building the coalition so that May Day 2026 is even bigger than this one, and May Day 2027 is bigger than that one, as we gear up for May Day 2028, where we shut the nation down in a general strike. And so as we stand together, as we rally, as we say, one struggle, one fight, I want to invite you to join thousands of educators on Saturday, May 17th, where we're going to shut it down at SpaceX.
We're gonna let Elon, Trump, and every billionaire know you can't hide. We see your greedy side. The union has power. We are the union. And this is our way to punch back, punch back, punch forward. Because if we don't get it, uh-oh, y'all not ready. If we don't get it, 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 si se puede. When I say worker, you say power. Worker, worker. When I say immigrant, you say power. Immigrant, immigrant. That's right. Next up, tenemos el vicepresidente de SEIU USWW, the vice president of SEIU USWW, Anton Formby, and joining him on the stage, LAX janitor, Laura Esquivel. When I say union, you say yes. Union, union. When I say union, you say yes. Union, union. When I say union, you say yeah. Union, union. When I say union, you say yes. Union, 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 union. What's up, y'all? My name is Anton Formby. I am the proud Vice President of SEIU USWW. We represent janitors, security officers, airport workers, stadium and arenas up and down California. And I'm just here to send a message loud and clear to anyone that's listening. The labor movement is here to fight. Are we right? I want everyone to take a moment. Look around you. Look around. Just take a minute. Look at your neighbor. Look at the beautiful rainbow of folks that's here today. It is okay for us to look different. We are different. That should be our strength. They're going to use that to divide us, and we need to use it as our power. Am I right? It's okay. In my union, we know this oh too well. We represent Latino janitors. We represent black security officers. We represent Asian airport workers, and that's okay. Use that as a strength to unite across our differences to push back against this administration. Right now, as we speak, we have airport workers who are fighting for a living wage. You're supposed to be able to live and work in the city. Right now, we have all of these huge sporting events that's happening in Los Angeles, and workers are going to get left behind. Not today. We're fighting for $30 an hour for folks that's working at the airport. So my message to you, brothers and sisters, let's not be divided by our petty differences. Let's use it as our strength. Look at today. We're sending a loud message from Los Angeles that the labor movement is alive and well, and we're going to push back against this administration. Se puede? Se puede? Se puede? Se puede? I want to introduce a leader, a union member leader, Laura Esquivel, that's going to talk about what it means to be an immigrant and a worker at LAX.
Gracias, Anton. Hola, compañeros. Mi nombre es Laura Esquivel. soy janitor en el aeropuerto de Los Ángeles. Como muchos de ustedes, yo vengo de México, pero hoy reconocemos que no importa de dónde venimos, sino a qué venimos. Y venimos a luchar. En el aeropuerto de Los Ángeles estamos luchando con las grandes corporaciones para lograr algo histórico, un sueldo